What's up, guys? Zach and Harley here again from Bet On and MMA. Here to give you guys a full recap and reaction to last night's UFC 286 card. Man, it was crazy. Bunch of fun fights, um, crazy outcomes in some fights. We're gonna get all into it. Also, we gave you guys three free parlays, three of them, guys, for free, and two out of the three hit. And if I'm not mistaken, if I remember correctly, the two of them that hit actually tripled your money. So guys, we're still rolling. Uh, we continue to get you guys paid each and every week for nothing. All we ask is that you like and subscribe to the channel, spread the word for us, follow us on Facebook and Instagram at Bet On and MMA, and just keep interacting with us. With that being said, what you guys, Zach?
Yeah, I mean, we don't ask for much. We don't really ask for anything at all. Uh, we're doing the research for y'all. We giving y'all not just one, but multiple parlays. Most of them are hitting. So all we ask is that, support the channel, subscribe, like, and comment your thoughts on the card. But with that being said, first fight, we had a big upset. Veronica Hardy upset Juliana Miller. Thoughts on that fight?
Yeah, man. Not to throw salt on the wound for Juju right here, but going speaking of our parlays, if Juju would have pulled off the win, all of our parlays would have hit. So we were just one fight away from all three of our parlays hitting, but that's another story for another day. As far as the fight goes, yeah, man, Juju, she looked a little in over her head, man. She looked raw, in a lot of areas. Um, Hardy was a lot faster than her, a lot more seasoned. Um, we knew that coming into this fight, Hardy was on a three-fight losing streak. But it looked like, man, she went back to the lab after that taking that time off. She went back to the lab and really got better. Evolved her game, and it showed, man. And I think Juju will be back. But one thing I want to point out here again, I'm not a coach, guys, and I don't claim to be. But Juju was so jujitsu heavy, man. And that's fine. Jujitsu is great. It's a great tool to have and a great asset to have. But in the sport of MMA, especially today, you can't just rely on one thing, especially jiu-jitsu. You gotta have more tools in your toolbox. So Juju just needs to get back to the lab and just sharpen up. I think she'll be fine, but her 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 inexperience showed, man. I think that was the biggest difference.
Yeah, man. Props to Dan Hardy. You know what I'm saying? 3 years off for Veronica. And Dan Hardy is her significant other and coach, and he really prepped her up really good for this fight.
Yeah,
Um,
man.
she looked better than ever. She looked like she connected the dots. And like she said in her post press conference, it was like having a cheat code, having Hardy as a coach. So good to see that improvement with Juliana Miller. It kind of points out something big for me, and it's that ever since they brought in the Contender Series, those guys usually would go through the Ultimate Fighter house, but now they're bypassing that, and you're seeing a lot more talent from the Contender Series rather than the Ultimate Fighter house. The Ultimate Fighter house, I feel like Juliana Miller, if she was to do the Contender Series versus some of these girls in her weight class, I don't know if she would have made it into the UFC. But it just speaks, talent wise, the comparison, because Juliana Miller, her stand up needs development. Her wrestling needs development. Her jiu-jitsu is great, but you got to have that in the UFC. You got to be able to put it together. And I
Yeah.
mean, went into the house with maybe three fights as a pro. So, like I said, it just points out that, Contender Series is putting out a lot more prospects.
Yeah. Hardy before we move on. Hardy looked a lot faster, a lot more slick than her. Kept her range. Juju kind of looked slow, and I think when Hardy just kept picking her forward those shots, she kind of got in over her head and it really sped up on her. And she couldn't find her rhythm, man. Props to Hardy. She looked really good, really good.
All right, moving up the card, we had Jai Abert getting a draw with Ludwig Klein.
Yeah, man. This fight was really close. Um, like we said in the prediction pod, um, we expected a stand-up fight, striking heavy matchup, and that's what we got. Um, really, both guys had their moments. Um, the biggest the biggest factor in the fight was that point deduction, man. That's what made it a draw. I thought Klein was ahead, but that point deduction really played a big factor. Really fun fight. Um, to me, both guys elevated their stock, and it was good to see. Both guys really went out there, put on a good show, and that fight could have went either way, man.
Yeah, definitely. With Jai Aber, he showed that, not just a striker, but showing well improved takedown defense and getting takedowns of his own, showing that he's more than just a striker. And Klein, as the fight progressed, was getting stronger and was starting to close distance. So, without the point deduction, who knows? But nothing lost from these two fighters. I think they kind of stayed where they're at right here, but showed that they made
Yeah,
improvement in their game.
absolutely.
All right, moving up the card, Joanne Wood getting a split decision over Luana Carolina.
Man, really good fight. Joanne Wood was having her way, and I thought she was gonna pull away with it, but man, Carolina, started putting her shots together. Man, was having some success, made it really interesting. I think the right girl, the right fighter won, and Wood, but I'm gonna tell you, Carolina impressed me, man, because coming off of uh, devastating loss to Molly McCann, a knockout loss, man. You don't know how a fighter's gonna respond. I'm gonna tell you, she looked really good. Yeah, it's not the outcome she wanted, but I think if you ask me, I think her stock rose from that night, man. I think she elevated her stock, and I think she showed that hey, look, I'm not saying the girl's gonna go on a run and win a world title, but I think she proved that she's more than capable of ripping off some wins in the UFC and making a little bit of noise, man. She looked, uh, she put on a show, but Joanne was leading the dance. Joanne got out to a quick start and really, kept the momentum for the most part. Like I said, um, uh, Carolina ended up making a run, but uh, Wood's quick start really helped her out, and I think that's what got her the win, man. Really fun fight though.
Yeah, man. Like I said on the prediction podcast is really, what's gonna win, the vet or the girl who's young in age and putting it together, got a couple wins, couple losses in the UFC. Ultimately, it was the vet. Joanne was doing a lot of crafty stuff in the clinch, throwing her off balance. It's whenever Carolina would, get off first, that's when she would land, but Wood always left everything answers. So good performance by Wood, and not too bad of a performance by Carolina. Moving up the card, we have Jake Hadley getting the KO over Malcolm Garden.
Man, whew, we talked about this one, uh, the off camera, you and I. Let me tell you something, man. I think this is a conversation you kind of want to get into a little deeper later on, but Jake Hadley's the real deal, man. Jake Hadley's a real deal. For him to go and run through his opponent like he did, he was fighting a veteran, man, a guy that's been around the block, that had some success, that gave guys problems in the past, and for Jake Hadley to go, I think it was what, maybe a minute, and just pick him apart on the feet and rip him to the body, man, to get the finish, dude. Jake Hadley's the real deal. The kid can strike. The kid's got good ground game. He got submissions. He can submit you from top, bottom. He can wrestle a little bit. Look, he still got a ways to go, but if he keeps on this climb, man, Jake Hadley's gonna be a real problem uh, in that division. So, really impressive performance, man. I can't wait to see what's next for Jake Hadley.
Yeah, man. I mean, Malcolm Garden's no slouch, and Hadley made him look like a beginner, man, with the stand up, the body shots, all that. Like you said, it only took him a minute. So, I mean, Hadley's a real deal. Keep an eye on him. We're real big on him over here.
Yes, indeed.
Moving up the card, we had Christian Leroy Duncan. He gets the win probably not how he wanted it over Dusko. Just thought about this
Yeah,
one.
man. Nah, I mean, not much to say here, other than I feel terrible for Fresco. Look, man, we picked Leroy Duncan to win by KO, and it goes down as a KO victory. But you hate to see any fight uh, in that way. You know, prayers up to and well wishes to Draco. Hopefully he can bounce back from his injury quick. Hopefully it's nothing too serious. I haven't heard any updates. I don't know if you did, but I hadn't heard any updates on the injury and how bad it is or if it's too severe or whatnot. But hopefully he'll get back soon, man. And I just hate to see that. You know, very
Yeah,
unfortunate.
most definitely, most definitely. All right, moving up to the next fight, we had a little controversy on this one. Leron Murphy takes the split decision over Gabriel Santos.
Listen, man, can we pause and can we go on a little rant right here? Because again, our job here is to break down the fight and give our honest opinion and whatnot. And look, we're not here to bash anybody. That's not our job. That's not the kind of people we are. But at the same time, I think Zach can agree with you on this. We both seen enough fights in our day, in the UFC, on the regional scene out here and whatnot. We know what to look for in a fight, and we know how to score a fight for the most part, man. And look, we both picked Murphy to win. It was a really good fight, really fun fight to watch. Both guys fought a hell of a fight. Both guys, impressed me. With that being said, man, and I want to make this clear. I picked Murphy to win, okay? But Santos was getting the better than Sanders, mixing it up with takedowns, landing getting takedowns, landing some good ground and pound. He was really getting the better most of the exchanges I found on the feet as well. And for the judges to give that fight to Leroy Murphy, man, that blows me away. That that's inexcusable, is what it boils down to. For Santos, a kid that came in here making his UFC debut on one of the biggest cards of the year, taking a fight on short notice against another undefeated guy, for him to go bust his ass and do what he did and get the fight taken from him in that way. I know you're not supposed to leave it up to the judge to say that, but come on, man, we gotta be better. We gotta be better.
Yeah, man. I mean, anybody who watched that fight, I feel like feels the same way. I know it was in UK, and I know that was Leron Murphy's, hometown. But still, man, Santos, I feel like I don't even know if it was a split decision. I
No,
think
I
it was
don't think so either.
unanimous. Santos wins. He got the takedowns. He landed more shots. He never left anything unanswered. He kept Murphy on his back foot. But it is what it is. But I feel like Santos, the UFC is going to take care of him, especially doing that on short notice versus a guy that probably not a lot of people wanted to fight. With Murphy, man, he keeps his win streak alive. But he's only going to fight better competition from here.
Oh yeah, and I want to say this before we move on. I'm not bashing Murphy. He still fought his ass off, and he still fought well. It was a close fight. Murphy's gonna be fun to watch in the future. Like I said, nothing against him. Just need the judges to do better. But props to Murphy, man. What a good fight.
All right, moving up the card, we got another 125er from the UK, Muhammad Makayev gets the rear naked choke against Jafel Filau.
Yeah, man. Makayev did what I thought he was gonna do. He uses the wrestling and got to the ground and he landed some good ground and pound. With um, after getting those takedowns. But Philly scared me for a second, man. I thought he had that leg lock, man. He almost had it. And I think, yeah, Makayev didn't tap, but I'm gonna tell you, he felt the effects of it during the fight and after the fight, man. It was very close. Um, with that being said, Makayev did what I thought he was gonna do. I wasn't expecting him to get caught in that submission and almost get finished. But besides that, he implemented his game plan. I think he needs to work on his striking more. kind of pull, go straight back when he strikes and gets caught with some silly stuff. But as far as his wrestling, man, he's legit, and hey, he still did what he had to do. He got the win, so props to him. And can't wait to see what's next for him.
Yeah, man. Mikhail showed that, if there's one thing, he definitely is. He's definitely a dog, man. That's the second, third round sub he gets in a row where he faced a little bit of adversity. Well, not a little bit, a
Yeah,
lot. Almost got his leg broken and came back and choked the guy out. So that's real impressive. Like you touched up on striking wise, we're still waiting to see that kind of evolve. But going on the other end, Filao didn't look bad either. You coming out facing a top prospect in your UFC debut. He shows some good things striking and on the ground he almost got that sub. So real interested to see what he does after this too. But yeah, Makai was the real deal. Moving up the card, we had Yanal Ashmov KOing Sam Patterson. Um,
yeah,
I know you said you kind of missed this one, but
yeah,
I tried to tell you, bro, he was gonna get the knockout, man. I tried to tell you, bro. Sam Patterson, I
yeah,
feel like has too much weight. Being 6'3" at 155 is great, but you know, you are gonna be dehydrated. You ain't gonna be able to take shots as well. And Ashmov just patiently waited, came over with some overhands, and essentially got the knockout. I thought it was a late stoppage. They should have stopped it earlier, but yeah, I feel like Sam Patterson could easily go to 170, be way better. And Ashmov, man, for 6-0, making a UFC debut against a hometown guy, super big.
yeah, man. Props to Ashmore. Yeah, like you said, I kind of saw that fight in spot. I did see the finish, but I was had some other things going on, so I kind of saw it in spot. Um, but yeah, props to Ashmore, man. I mean, like you said, they go on a guy, make your debut, and a guy on this big of a card, in a guy's hometown, when everybody's rooting against you, and they literally go just turn his lights out, man. I mean, that's impressive. You know, um, I like what you said there. I think uh, Sam Patterson, excuse me, Sam Patterson does have a future in the UFC. Um, I think it would be wise for him to at least think about going up to 170 so the weight cut doesn't drain him as much. I think both guys are fun to watch and gonna have some success in the future. But Ashmov, man, that was a big statement for Ashmov to go do what he did.
No doubt.
And
I
looking
agree.
forward to seeing him again.
Moving up the card, we got Chris Duncan getting a split decision over Omar Morales.
Yeah, man, Chris Duncan, close fight against Omar Morales. Uh, I have to say, Morales, I wasn't expecting that from him, man. Morales is a vet, but I thought uh I thought Duncan would have pulled away a little bit, in the fight. But Morales was game, back and forth fight. Um, but yeah, Chris Duncan definitely got the win in my opinion, and looking forward to seeing him again, man. Fun striking exchanges. Both guys had their moments, and Duncan ultimately got the win, man. It was a fun fight.
Yeah, I disagreed with the judges on this one. I had Omar winning the first round and the third round. I mean, third round, Duncan kind of just held them a little bit, and then when they separated, Morales went for the kill, man. It was landing some damage. Uh, but they started a split. I think one judge scored a split decision all three rounds, or maybe that's a different fight, but feel like one judge scored it all three rounds for Omar. I definitely gave Duncan the second round, but it was still a close fight. I could see how they gave it to Duncan. Both guys I feel like kind of stayed here with that win. I don't know how Duncan does in the UFC going forward. Feel like he's gonna have to add a little bit more to his game. And Morales, I don't know if he still is in the UFC after this loss. So we'll
Yeah,
see.
yeah.
Right, moving up the card, we got Jack Shore, successful 145 debut against Makwan Amir Khani.
Look, coaches can't fight for you, but I'm gonna shout out Jack Shore's dad. I think he's the MVP of this fight, man. Um, again, your coach can, or your dad, for this matter, can't go out and fight for you, but props to his dad, okay? Because I'm gonna Zach, put your coaching hat on for a second, okay? there's a lot of coaches when their fighter comes back to the corner after round one, when they tell them, "Oh, son, you did so good. That round's ours." And they give their fighter a false narrative, false hope. When a lot more people need to. I'm not saying get into their ass, but wake them up a little bit, man. Say, hey, look, son, we dropped this round. We've been drilling this, and this. You need to wake up. You need to get going. You need to have some urgency. It's not to be an ass or hurt your feelings. It's to wake you up and get you going. That's what good coaches do. And man, that's after his dad, after the first round, when his dad had that minute with him, and he came out like a man on a mission and blew through him in the second round, man. So that was good to see. Jack Shore faced a little bit of adversity. Wasn't pretty in the first round at all, but the kid showed heart, kid showed grit, and he ultimately got the finish in round two, man. So props to him, and looking forward to seeing him again.
Yeah, I like seeing him go through a little bit of adversity in the first round, getting taken down, being on your back majority of the round, ultimately losing the first round, and then making the proper adjustments, throwing that head kick to keep Amir Khani from shooting in, and then ultimately getting your own takedown and getting the win. I think 45 is a way better look for him. I think 35 he was just absolutely draining himself,
Yeah,
even though he was being the bigger guy. I think now you've seen that a guy like Amir Khani was a little bit stronger than him, but ultimately Jack just had too much cardio, too much coming forward, too much pressure. So real good debut from Jack Shore and looking for more from him at 145. All right, moving up the card. I'm gonna let you break this one down, bro.
ah,
I know you disagreed with the judges, so Vittori getting the unanimous decision, keyword unanimous, over Roman Dolce.
yeah, man. Listen, nah. Hey, I went back and forth on this fight. Two very talented fighters. If you go back and you watch my quick picks pod, the one that I did by myself, I went with Victoria in that pod. And when I went and Zach and I did our podcast together for the full breakdown and prediction, I decided to switch my pick to Victoria because I felt like Victoria could have some success on the ground. Now, it didn't go to the ground, it didn't. But I thought Victoria could have some success on the ground. And I
Dolce.
knew, yeah, I'm sorry. Thank you for that, Jack. The lead could have some success on the ground. And he also has real knockout power and could put anybody's lights out. So I thought he had more ways to win. With that being said, this fight didn't go to the ground. Both guys had their moments. Both guys, it's a close fight. First of all, I'm going to take the broad spectrum here before I get into the meat and potatoes of it. How in the hell, let me ask you this, man. Let me ask you this. How can you score that fight 30-27 for anybody?
It's
But
definitely
for
29,
Vittori,
28.
yeah, either guy, you can't score that fight
You
30
got you
27 for
got to
either
give
guy.
the first round to Dolce.
Absolutely. And yeah, my honest opinion, and no, it's not me being biased. Maybe I need to go back and watch it again. I thought Delise won the third round. Was it close? Yeah, hell yeah, it was close. But I thought Vittori, I mean, Sam, I thought Delise,
Now you
I'm
had it
getting
right.
all fired
You had
up.
it right, bro. You had it right.
Nah, I'm getting all fired up and talking out the side of my neck, man. Uh, I thought Delise, landed more shots in that third round, and it was close. But I had it 29-28 for uh for Delite. Now listen, if you scored 29-28 for Victoria, I can live with that. Close fight, could have went either way. But 30-27 for Victoria, nah, man. Delite hurt, dude. Zach, correct me if I'm wrong. I thought Delite was gonna get him out of there for a second round.
No.
I thought he was. Now he didn't, but he stunned him in that first round, bro.
He might have overwhelmed them, had him backing up, and had him in front of him against the cage. But not 1 second in my mind was I like, he's about to
No,
come out of there.
no, he wasn't like out on his feet or nothing, but I was like, man, he might be able to turn it on and get him.
Hey,
What I'm trying to say,
I think you really fuck with Delete Say, bro. I think that's one of your favorite
no,
fighters.
no,
That's what I
I
think.
do, I do. I fuck with him hard. I do. And it's my partner right there, Roman.
Yeah.
Like the Roman candle, maybe the Roman soldier, whatever you want to call him. But to score that fight 30-27 for Victoria, man, you can't do that.
Nah, but yeah, I feel you. Definitely not 37, but I definitely got him 29, 28
Oh
winning.
yeah, and I'm cool with 29-28 for Victoria. I'm cool with it, but not 30-27.
All right, we're gonna move up to the next fight because we'll be talking about that one forever. All right, let's start
Hey,
putting
we could have done a whole pot on that fight, just that one fight.
let's start putting some respect on Jennifer Maya's name, man.
Ooh,
I
yes
know when she
sir.
fought Morose, I picked her to win. This one I felt like Casey O'Neill was gonna get the better of her, but she proved, man, the veteran comes on top on this fight. What you had on this one?
And look, well, I'm gonna say, Zach and I both picked O'Neal, but Zach, well, help our viewers out. What did we say? When we picked O'Neal, what did we say about Maya? What did we say about
We did say Maya got the hands, she got the boxing, she got the experience, and we did say Casey O'Neill was coming off a long layoff where she tore her ACL, and she came off a fight before that with Roxanne Modafferi, where it's a split decision.
it? Yep. We said fight could go either way. Don't touch it.
Look,
Don't
man,
touch it.
I'm learning more and more to stay away from women's MMA when it comes to betting, man.
Yes, sir.
It's
I'm,
very
I'm
tricky.
gonna like man, like we put again. I hate to go back to Juju. We put Juju in the parlay. It's not the fact that she lost, but she got dominant. She got outclassed. She didn't win a second of that fight.
Not even that fight,
You
man.
know.
A fight like Valentina versus Grasso. Like, who the fuck saw that
Yeah.
coming?
Yeah. Hell, Nunez, Amanda Nunez and Pena won. You know, shit. Who saw that one coming for sure? You know,
Right,
so
right.
uh, crazy man. But no, again, another show for another day. I'm getting off track. Props to Jennifer Maya, man. The
Absolutely.
woman came out and boxed O'Neal's ears off. You know, and look, Maya is a veteran. She's in. How old is Maya? Do you know off the top of your head?
She's got to be 33, 34. Yeah, 34.
Yeah, so she's not old, but she's not getting younger either.
Yeah,
But man, Maya to me, she showed she got some tread left on the tires, man.
absolutely, bro.
Jennifer Jennifer Maya, somebody you better keep your eye on. I'm gonna tell
Yeah.
you right now. I had Jennifer Maya. I had a lot of respect for Jennifer Maya before this fight. I did, but after this fight, I, I can't wait to see Jennifer Maya win again. And, I mean, fight again, and I'm gonna definitely be keeping a close eye on her.
Oh, yeah. Nah, for sure. Maya, you know what I'm saying? Like, her, whatever she did with her boxing, whoever she's working with, keep doing that because, I mean, her hands been the difference in every single fight she's been fighting in her last two or three. So, yeah, keep an eye on Maya. We're gonna move up to the next fight. Probably my worst pick of the card. Looking back on it, I don't even know, man. I guess we had a lot of hope in this guy, but Gunnar Nelson gets the armbar win in the first round over Brian Barberina.
Yeah, we both made that mistake, and I'm gonna say this: I'm going 0-5 on the main card. Damn, that hurt. That hurt. But one fight that we about to get to next, I'm happy I got it wrong, man. But we about to jump in now. But with that being said, I didn't see this one. Shout out to my dad. He was coming back and forth and watching the fights with me, and I was doing something in my living room, and he came back and he was watching the fights with me. And he said, "Man," he said, Barbarina got caught in the armbar. Got caught in the armbar. He stopped and he's done. And I missed it, man. So I mean, I can't even really say just, but that's surprising, but it don't surprise me because
Yeah,
it's surprising because it happened so quick, but it didn't surprise me because we said we thought that Barbarina could stuff the takedowns and outstrike him. Obviously, he didn't.
yeah.
So, and we knew if it got to the ground that Barbarina was in trouble.
Barberina did land some good leg kicks. Nelson's leg, started showing it. But ultimately, man, Nelson showed who he is, man. He stayed patient, hands down, karate style, was able to get the takedown. And once he got us to the ground, man, he really showed there were levels. I mean, he was giving him like this much space on the ground for Barberina to take it so he can get a submission, and Barberina still wasn't even, even trying. So good win from Nelson. I figure he's probably gonna do this route where he takes 8 months to a year off and fights in his hometown, which I don't blame him. I mean, right in his career, I don't think he's gonna make a run right now. So hey, get that money. Next card, like Harley said, not mad that we got this one wrong. We got Justin Gaethje getting the win over top prospect Rafael Fiziev.
Man, let me tell you something. In case our viewers didn't know, I can't stand up. Okay, in case you didn't know that. But if I could, I would stand up right now and I would applaud Justin Gaethje.
Straight up.
Because that man, hey, that man came in there and did the damn thing. We said, oh, and I'm going to say this. Look, I don't regret picking Fiziev. Well, I kind of do. Because I kind of was torn on that fight. Just with Gaethje's experience, what he's done in the past, and the whole 9 yards. We all know what Justin Gaethje brings to the table. And I had a feeling that if somebody could beat him, it was Justin Gaethje. And damn, did he show down, bro.
Oh yeah.
The first round went for Z's way. He was faster, more slick. He was, sliding in and out, getting around, doing all that good stuff. But as the fight went on, and Gaethje just kept coming, kept marching forward, Fiziev was like, oh shit, what I gotta do to get this guy out of there? And he never shied away. Fiziev never backed down. But Gaethje just kept coming like a damn tank, man. That dude's tough. That dude's tough. He's durable. I mean, they both kept coming, but dude, for Gaethje just to walk through everything and just start walking him down and getting inside and ripping those uppercuts, that jab and those uppercuts, man. That's two underrated weapons in MMA. And let me tell you something. Justin Gaethje executed that jab and that uppercut to the freaking teeth. Man, that was fun to see. Props to Justin Gaethje. Before you get into what you gotta say, what is it? 10 fight of the night, 11 fight of the night bonuses
11.
or something like that, dude. I mean, every time this man steps into a cage, win, lose or draw, he's leaving part of himself in there, dude. And you're gonna see a war. And we're gonna get we're gonna get to this in the next podcast for his next fight. But if he rematches this dude that we think he will, it's gonna be another barn burner. And I can't wait to see it. Justin Gaethje, uh, eventual Hall of Famer. Props to him. Can't wait to see him fight again. That's all I got. It's
Okay.
crazy.
Oh, we got about 5 minutes left, so I'm not gonna go too crazy with it. But yeah, Fiziev looked great in the first round, looked super fast, went to the body great. And then second, third round, man, Trevor Whitman, shout out to Gaethje's coach. He made the adjustments, man. And crazy to see Gaethje actually use his wrestling. I thought I would never see it, and he actually
Yep,
did.
he
So
did.
that was good to see. Props to Gaethje. So moving up to the main event, we got and still Edwards retaining his welterweight title, defeating Usman by decision.
You know what, Leon Edwards, man. Leon Edwards did the damn thing. That's all I gotta say. You know, uh, when they were introducing the fighters, Usman went jumping his face like he was gonna, knock his blocks off and do something. Now let me tell you something. Leon Edwards shut that shit down. He stuffed every takedown. He outclassed him on the feet. Uh, yeah, it was a close fight, but he definitely won in my book. Uh, uh, Usman couldn't get the takedown like I said. Leon outstruck him, and I mean that's all I got to say really. Got a little interesting there with the fence grab for Leon. Took a point away from him, rightfully so. They should have taken a point, and Herb Dean did the right thing by doing that. But that didn't even play a factor, and that shows with the point deduction, they're losing around 10-8. I think they scored that at 10, right? If I'm not mistaken. Losing that round 10-8 and still
I
winning on two. Oh, it was a 9-9 round, okay. But still with the point deduction, you still went on 2 of the 3 judges' scorecards. I mean, hey, that speaks volumes, man. And Leon Edwards is here to stay for a while, I think.
Absolutely, absolutely. Leon, man, I will say this, smart game plan by kicking low the entire time because
Yep,
I
he
feel like
hurt him
Usman
bad
thought
too.
of, I feel like Usman thought eventually he would go high with it. So I'm not gonna respect the low kicks as much. I'm gonna respect the head kicks. And you just kept it low the whole time. With Usman, I know he had, this fight might have not happened because he was looking to get surgery on his hands, and like when he was looking to wrestle, like I could be wrong here, but I feel like he couldn't lock his hands how he usually does. Um, but with that being said, Edwards fought a great fight. Uh, Usman fought a decent fight as well. I texted you after the fight. I was like, they're either gonna score this with the point deduction, Leon ahead by 1 round, or a draw for Usman, and you've seen that, one of the judges saw it that way as a draw. Do they
Yeah,
eventually run it back? I don't know. But I mean, Edwards showed that he is dealing with wrestling better, which he's gonna need. He's gonna need with the fights coming up next.
yeah. And one more little tidbit I want to add before you end it. I think the head kick knockout in the previous fight kind of kept Usman at bay because he had it in the back of his mind. I think it was a little gunshot, and I think he came in there with more respect for Leon too, man. So, I mean, all in all, great performance by Leon Edwards.
No doubt, man. All in all, a good fight card. We got y'all paid. Like we always say, just subscribe to our channel. We're gonna keep dropping content damn near every single day. We're doing our research, so you ain't got to. And just know we're good for it. Anything before we leave, Harley?
Nah, man. Thank you guys for watching. We'll be back this week for more. Until then, have a good one.
All right.